From Studio A at 1 Biloxi Square in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yep.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Grandpa and Pappy Show as we are escorted in by our good friend Brian Emerton up in Tennessee.
Got that boogie
And
woogie
little blues music to show us up. And that's a good way to start the show, Pappy.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with you?
Oh, same old, same old. Happy Friday to you.
Same old stuff, just a different day.
Different day, brother.
Well, it is Friday before Thanksgiving, and the Grandpa and Pappy Show are going to be taking a little holiday vacation next week.
A sabbatical, if you will.
And we want to start the show off by wishing all of you a very happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
And hope you get to spend some time with your family.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. Your loved ones.
Got some good stuff today.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about, can America survive this stuff that we're going through, Pappy?
Man.
And the second part, we're going to be talking about ways that you think you can unite us again.
United.
And that's, wasn't that a quarterback?
Oh, Yanni Unitas.
Yeah, Johnny,
Yeah.
good night. Thank you very much.
He was very good.
But still no official confirmation on who the president-elect is. It still goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yada, yada.
If you haven't heard, Michigan certified their votes, but it was not without controversy. There were 4 certification election officials, and they wound up 2 and 2 divided, so they couldn't get it certified. And then all of a sudden, the 2 that didn't want to certify started being called racist and death threats coming in and stuff like that. So they changed their mind.
Yeah.
And Michigan certified their vote, but it's not over with yet up there.
right.
So that's all we're going to say about that because, frankly, it's getting old, and we all know that there was a lot of voter fraud.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say. Anyway, but let's dive right into it today.
Let's do.
We will ask the amazing Special K anytime she wants to throw her 2 cents in. Well, then just come on in and we'll see what you have to say because she imparts some pretty good stuff, Pappy.
She's a very wise lady.
Very, very wise. Yeah. Let's start it off. Juliana Thixton Payravy said, yes, it can survive this stuff, but with prosecution and violence. And I'm afraid she is absolutely correct.
I think she's hitting the nail right on the head. Mike Perry said yes, but there'll have to be a lot of people changing their outlooks. The left has got to realize that sometimes there are a lot of silent majority people willing to fight for their freedom and for the life of their country. Until those attitudes are changed, it'll be a tough road to hoe.
That sounds like a little country philosophy there.
I know what that means.
Yes, sir. I do too. Good post, Mike.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Our good friend out in West Texas, John Bossy, said, personally, I will never trust the nationwide election process again. We always knew that certain states cheated. Now it's obvious that blatant fraud is not only acceptable, but now it's endorsed. Conservatives just need to find out how much the liberal socialist Democrats paid per ballot and up the ante. It is no longer a discussion of who and what they are. We are just negotiating the fee.
That's true.
I've heard that. I really have.
U.S. is a corporation now. I mean, we no longer live by the damn Constitution. It's a corporation.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it. Well, get ready for this one. This one's
boy.
a deep thought thing.
Oh, Crawdaddy Crawford Young. You stepping up in your thought process,
Yes, you are, bro.
He says, so you have this huge pool of money called tax dollars. We'll refer to this as the hen house. Guess who's watching the hen house? It's a bunch of sly little foxes that came from the swamp. We will refer to them as swamp foxes.
There you go.
You see, for years we had swamp foxes running against swamp foxes, and in our minds we voted for the lesser of two evils, or at least that's how we rationalize the voting process. We've rationalized for so many years until we have so many swamp foxes guarding the hen house that anything short of mutiny would be a waste of time. So, so Trump goes into the hen house and he calls out all the swamp foxes, and it totally blows them out of the water, and they feel exposed as they should feel. He has shed light into their darkness, and he'll do anything to regain control of the hen house for fear of losing eggs. The Trojan horse is our politicians. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. The end. Well, that's well said. That's well said, Crawford.
Oh my goodness! I tell you, it's just Crawford. You have really come on strong, brother.
That's right. Must
Because
be having
what you're
flashbacks.
saying makes so much sense.
Watch out for them swamp foxes, by
My
God.
goodness
Yeah,
gracious!
well said, Crawdaddy.
Good job, Crawford. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Twyla Richards and Cindy Gale Roberts Thomas both told Crawford they agreed with him, and well said.
I bet they even thought about a by God in there, too.
I bet they did too.
Our buddy Bob Baker said it's simple. Secede.
Seed.
End of problem.
Daryl Riddle says no. America was never a nation that could be screwed over, and it's not going to start now.
It's close. Twyla Richards said she stood in line at Academy today, and I was number 21 in line. I got one box of bullets for an AR-15. You can only buy 3 boxes per person in Abilene, Texas, and I got the last box after standing behind 20 people. They're rationing ammunition.
And I've heard that too. I mean, it's hard to find
They've been
ammunition.
doing it a while, yeah.
You know, people are saying that they're not making, the left is forcing these ammunition companies not to make it
Yeah.
as much, but that's not true.
Yeah.
People are just buying a lot of
and that's-
ammunition just in case.
And that's more of the NATO rounds and things of that nature. But you know, they're hoarding ammunition like toilet paper.
Well, you can't even find 9mm or 380 shells.
Well, how many cases would you like, sir?
Well, we'll talk after this is over because I
By
want to
God.
have a few more cases.
I've got a couple.
I got enough shotgun shells, you know,
I've got
to
some,
down a lot of people. But
I've got some ugly shotgun rounds.
yeah,
Dragon's breath and spreaders and all that stuff.
oh, man, you are loaded. Gregory Chittum said, "Yes, we will," but Bobby Harley said, "I doubt it seriously."
Well, who knows anymore? I guess
No,
it remains
you
to be
never
seen.
know.
Yeah,
You
what
just
was
never
that you saying the other day? Keep your powder dry.
Keep
by
your
God.
powder dry. Yeah.
Bobby Hearn said once Trump figures out he's not the president, he got fired. G.W. Rutledge told Bobby he was very funny.
Bobby boy.
Wait,
Do what?
I love Bobby to death, but if he's saying that Trump got fired, then every other president before him was fired.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because he's not elected again doesn't mean he got fired.
Well, they tried to fire him, but they couldn't find anything to fire him over.
They had to rehire him.
So there you go.
There
A little
you go,
input
Bobby.
wisdom
That's
from
right.
Special K.
Special K has spoken.
Yes, sir.
Chris Schomburg said, yes, once we bust and prosecute the Democrat criminal cartel.
Won't ever happen.
And it seems like that is what it is, a cartel.
Yep.
John Bossy told Chris it will never happen. They've been harvesting ballots for decades. They're experts at it. And like we learned in Michigan, if you question them, they scream racism.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't accept ballot harvesting and fraud to win an election. It's not honest or honorable. I've worked many elections. I know how it's supposed to be done, and that did not occur. They do that BS in third world countries, not the United States, until now.
Yep.
Do you accept 125% voter turnout as acceptable? That's something to think about,
Don't
right?
think so, John.
When the guy from Maryland takes office, the new acceptable unemployment rate will be 8 to 10%. That's how the liberal socialist Democrats always maintained votes. Keep them in the projects and promise them free stuff. And that is about it.
Pretty profound.
And I think a lot of our African American friends out there are starting to see this more and more and more I think there were more African Americans who voted for Trump in this election, in numbers wise,
Yeah.
than in any other election.
Yeah. And if you don't believe us, just tune in to YouTube and watch the Hodge twins. They'll tell you all about it.
Yep.
Frank Edgar said, I wonder just how much confidence Democrats will have in this no-fraud election if President Trump manages to pull a win out.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. I'll buy the first bucket of popcorn.
Yeah.
I suspect the tables will turn and we'll have riots in the streets. Can we survive? Absolutely. We survived the Civil War. We survived having presidents like General Grant, Jimmy Carter, Barack Hussein Obama. We'll come out the other side of a target-rich environment and be okay. I like the way you think, Frank.
Dr. Philosopher there.
Yep.
Frank, how you doing, bud? Let's see here. Drax Smith wrote a novel, but it was a good one.
Yeah.
Drax Smith said the United States as we know it will end if the Biden-Harris is in for very long. Obama spent years stacking the deck. Amnesty, importing Democrats through the Syrian refugee program. Californians and New Yorkers are fleeing those states and heading to red states. I'd wager tens of thousands of New Yorkers changed their voting registration to Florida this year to specifically vote for Biden. There's a lot of New Yorkers who own property in Florida, and 70 to 80% are Democrats. Harris Biden are already ramping up to resume those programs. That'll flip Texas, Florida, Georgia, Arizona, and the Carolinas into solid blue states. Once Texas is blue, nothing but a Democrat has a chance at the presidency, and the Senate flips a hard blue and the House an overwhelming blue. Arizona already appears to have flipped, going from a solid red to a maybe, and Georgia is close. Everywhere Democrats gain control, they don't let go of it. Look at Michigan and Wisconsin. Only an idiot would believe 90% of absentee ballots would be for one candidate in any county in the United States.
That's an interesting way to look at it, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I tell you what, I'm
Scary.
I'm not so sure he is not right.
Well, if they can flip Texas, the rest of it would be a piece of cake.
Well, they're trying, but I will tell you, all you Californians and New Yorkers out there, if you start trying to change our Texas the way we like it,
Yep.
there's going to be some problems in your
Don't
face.
California or Texas.
No, sir.
Doug Gressett said, I fear for the America that my grandkids have to live in.
Bingo.
I will survive for a couple more decades, I guess, and I can get by even if they somehow steal all the funds from Social Security. But I really shudder to think about the world that will exist in 20 to 30 years when my grandkids are trying to live their lives as responsible adults. I pray for our country and her leaders. You know, and that's my biggest fear is, our children are relatively still young.
Yeah,
but grown.
that's
but
true.
The grandbabies, Jesus Christ, can you imagine what they've got to go through? Crazy.
Good Lord,
Crazy,
it
crazy.
makes me shudder to think about some of this and what they will go through.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Randy Landers says, hell no, it's going to get worse, I'm afraid. And Eddie Dixon said, nope, it's not going to get better.
It'll get worse before it gets better. Bobby Bailey said, yes, we will. Hopefully, we will come out better.
Yeah.
And that was the ending of segment 1.
Yeah. And we want to thank Marvin Sims for his suggestion and that question that all of you so amply stepped forward and let us know what your opinion was. And that's the great thing about the Grandpa and Pappy show. When we started this thing off, Pappy and I, and we've told you many times, we knocked around this idea for over a year,
Lord.
trying to think about what type of format would make you happy.
Yeah.
And we got to looking around, and there's not a lot of podcasts. I don't think there's one that focuses on what the opinions are of the listeners.
A generalization type podcast. They'll focus in on one subject, and of course you Google how to bake a pecan pie or whatever, and you got it. But But ours is very
but
diverse.
they don't read or listen to what the viewers are saying like we do.
In fact, amigo, that kind of brings a new little brain fart to mind on me. I'm gonna issue a challenge to our listeners.
Let's do it.
I want you guys to really think about it and send us some subject matter. I mean, y'all been good so far about doing that,
Yep.
but we would really like to be overwhelmed with subject matter and ideas that we can use from time to time, and based on your opinions and comments and participation of that subject, is what puts it out front.
That's exactly right. That's what will air.
Yeah.
And what we'll do, our form is, if you send us an idea, we put that question on our Facebook page,
Yeah.
so that you guys can comment on it.
Yeah.
And that's where you can go to see a lot of these opinions, if not all of them. Well, not all of them, but most of them. You can read the opinions before they even air.
Absolutely.
And you can also comment on the other opinions. We've had several back and forth conversations with you listeners out there, talking to one another.
Yep.
And it's always good to see, and we encourage it. Just we ask you to be very respectful to one another,
Yeah. Play fair.
because each other's opinions are important.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at some of the other things that came in.
Okay.
AJ Green
Yeah.
sent us in an idea, which we ask you about, and your ideas on how to unite America again.
You know, and that's a good thought.
It is, because I got to thinking about that, and I just, what would you do? Let me ask you, what would you do
Well, I'd
in all the present environment? What is it going to take to unite our country again?
leave the damn Oval Office alone for a while and let us straighten it out. I mean, it's I don't know, man. Who knows?
No, here we go. Special K, what you got?
To Happy's point, if they would have let Trump alone all these 4 years, it would have been a lot more done.
We'd all been wealthy.
Right. But we are never going to be a united nation probably ever again, because half of the people want to be socialist and half of them want to be as we are today.
Well, it's been on
So
a downhill
until you can
trend for a
break
while.
that
yeah.
down, then it's never going to unite, because there will always be different sides.
Well, we've been sliding down that hill for a while, I think.
We have, absolutely.
And
have.
just sitting back on our haunches and watching it happen.
And
so.
all the Democrats out there that you just vote because you're a Dem and been a Dem for life. Mm-hmm. Good God.
That ain't the way
Stop
the game
it.
goes
That's
anymore.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the way it used to be when Democrats were actually working for the good of the country. I know
It was the working man's party.
my father was 73 years old when he passed away, and he voted Democrat all of his life except for the very last election. And he was telling me that who he voted for. I said, I looked at him. I said, "What? You voted Republican?"
And I have a
I said,
feeling Pop
why?
would have done the same thing.
I said, "Why?" And he said, "I'm just, they've lost their way.
yeah.
They've lost their way."
Crap's
Very
got out of
simple
hand.
answer, and boy was he right.
Sad but true.
Yeah.
Sad
And
but
we've heard from listeners on various subjects that we've been covering over the last 101 shows that used to be Democrats, but they switched over for that very same reason.
Yeah.
They just
There's
lost
a lot
their
of them
way.
that's hopped the fence. I haven't met the first Republican that's hopped the fence yet. Have you?
No, I haven't. To be honest with you, I haven't. I sure haven't. But anyway, I'm clinging to the faith and the hope. First of all, my faith in God that He will straighten out this country, and secondly, my faith in American people.
Fellow man.
That when the going gets tough for this country, we all seem to unite and get it back on the right side of the tracks, so to speak.
And what I've learned in my Christian life, when I used to study Christianity pretty deep, I had the gospel show and kind of had my own radio ministry for years. But God instills you with common sense. Use it. So don't just sit back and go, well, God, this is all up to you. He has instilled you with the power of thought and to recognize what's right, wrong, or indifferent. And I'm sure he's depending on you to do your part. So as that goes, that's pretty much what I base my theories on.
Yeah.
You know?
And kind of following up with what you said just now, no matter what people sit there and tell you about how you should feel or how you shouldn't feel,
Yeah.
as Pappy said, use your common sense that
Those two
God
words.
gave you to sit down and think it through. Is
Figure
this
it out.
right? Is this wrong? Could they be right? Could they be wrong? Let me ask questions. Find out.
Yeah, it's not just a matter of what is right just for you, but what's right for your family, and even better yet, your country. You know, I mean, because this stuff that's going on now is determining how your family, your ancestors, are going to be living down the road. So, you know,
Exactly. I
figure it
agree.
out.
Let's take a look at some of the.
Your ideas on how to unite America again.
Yeah.
By A.J. Green.
Can it happen? Well, John Bossy said it can happen if, one, the liberal socialists admit that they created the racial tension over the summer for political gain. Two, Joe Biden calls for a full and complete investigation of his family and accepts the outcome no matter how severe. And three, the DNC admits to harvesting ballots. And four, Obama et al. Admit to the attempted coup d'etat
Of 45.
of 45.
Did you see? I shared a post with you, and I think it was one that didn't come through because I can't share on Facebook for some reason. I'm sure it's a special case fault, but
Well, it's probably because you're in jail all the time.
well, by God, she used to come visit. But they were reviewing, did a review, an online review of Obama's book. And it's the title of his book slipped my mind. I probably wouldn't read it anyway, but
Probably I sucked as president. Just saying.
that could have been. Yeah, that was the first edition of it.
Does he live in Oklahoma? I was just asking for a friend.
Said it's 770 or 790 pages of the most nonsensical BS that he's ever read in his life. Said it didn't even make sense. Said, but if you can read through, if you can see through all the rhetoric and all the pretentious crap that he included in his book, you could see exactly how he outlined and laid everything out to screw our country up. When it
Yeah,
was in the
60
Oval
Minutes interviewed him the other day, last Sunday, and he was going, let's see, what did he say? What's wrong with the Republican Party? What happened to the Republican Party? They lost their way. Something like that. And I'm just going,
Just like old
we
Sleepy
lost
Joe,
our way?
He lost his mind. But I will give him credit where credit's due. He did stir the pot.
Boy, he did
In
stir
a
that
huge
pot.
way, and
and
it's going to take it's going to take a long damn time to unstir that pot.
It
that
is
he
that.
created.
It is that.
Once again, Crawdaddy Crawford Young said it won't happen because too many powerful people would have to expose themselves, and that's not going to happen without a lot of collateral damage, and that's true. It's not a political answer, it's a financial interest answer. Our political system is nothing more than a sideshow designed to get people emotionally involved and distracted from what is really going on behind the scenes. It's also a way for citizens to take partial responsibility and feel as though they have a voice and buy into the scheme. So it would take lots of transparency from many powerful people, and I just don't know if there's enough clean ones around to do exactly what it would take to get us back on track.
Crawford scaring me.
Damn, Crawford. You need to be an advocate.
No kidding.
By Jeff, I believe he is.
Yeah,
Wow.
you need to run for office. You do. I mean, I was going to run for office and wanted people's support. I was running for the county line, actually. So
I'd do it just for the money. That's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Seems to be the way to go. Yeah.
well, our buddy Eric Hudson up at the field office,
Dr. Hudson.
Dr. Hudson, said, put everyone alone in a room. Have them take a survey, 100 questions about their beliefs and expectations of our government.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet the greater majority would fall into the libertarian spectrum, less government intervention, more personal liberties, and yes, that includes pro-choice. Unfortunately, people have fallen into the two-party trap. Blind affiliation to one party or another just because they've always voted that way.
Yeah.
Money makes the world go round, and at this rate, it seems money will eventually make the world stop turning.
Wow.
When politicians literally and legally accept money from groups in exchange for their stamp of approval, it's no longer about the people. It's about the money.
Boom,
Period.
Eric.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's a good one.
That's a good one. I think he's been in deep chat with Crawdaddy.
Well, yeah, Eric just got back from a trip to Colorado,
Yeah.
so it cleared his mind.
Wonder if
one
he got
way or
any of
the
those
other.
cookies.
He didn't even have a mind when he's over there. What are you talking about?
Good job, Eric.
Well said, Brother Eric. We love you guys, man. James O'Donnell says, everyone is worried about political parties. Treat your neighbors kindly and as you would wish to be treated. If it's not affecting you personally, it's not your business. Color, creed, religion, sexual habits behind closed doors are not your business. Wow. And we come back to be kind to your neighbors.
Yeah.
Well, it should be our business because that's the kind of crap that's prevalent on the streets anymore, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. And finally, Chet Brooks said, take the money out of politics and see who stays in. Every one of them need are not above the law, from insider trading to lobby groups so they can make millions. Basically what you were saying just a few minutes ago.
And going back to what Crawford was saying, and even Eric, I mean, cash is king. Money controls the world. You know, it always
AJ.
has and it always will.
AJ, thank you very much for your question of the day there.
And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of your comments off of this little segment.
Could be.
I hope so.
Speaking of, let's take a look at some of the viewer comments that we've gotten in from you, our listeners out there.
Yeah.
Lisa Seeley commented on our 100th episode by simply saying she loved the show. Thank you, Lisa.
We had a lot of fun with that show.
Yeah, we do.
Brady Willis commented on the same show. He said, I had no idea you've done 100 shows. Well, we didn't either for a while.
Well, I do.
It goes to show you people like their opinions heard without interruption. Keep up the great work, fellas. It's fun to watch you guys. Well, thank you, Bradley. We love having you on board, man.
Thank you very much, Bradley. That's very kind of you. Daryl Hobson had comments on our show about losing respect.
Yeah.
He said people are not taught it anymore and could care less who they offend.
And it's so.
My parents enforced the idea of showing respect to everyone until they disrespect you.
Yeah. That's pretty much the way I was raised.
I like it. Mr.
You
Dacre.
gotta earn it before you can give it.
That's right.
Scott Dacker commented on our show about giving advice to your kids. He said, say hello, please, and thank you often. They are canned responses that never are received as canned. So, makes sense?
Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Let me get that door for you.
That's right. And finally, Philip Charles Day also had a comment on the same show saying, keep your faith and keep your word. That'll get you respect.
And your powder dry.
And your powder dry. That's right. It's been a lot of fun today.
It has.
And we really want to thank you, all of you out there, so very, very much
You guys
for
are
all
great.
of your opinions on what we talk about.
Yeah.
As we told you, we're going to take a Thanksgiving holiday break and sabbatical. A lot of people going to be on the road,
We do some big burn.
including us. We'll be on the road down south to see family that we hadn't seen in months because of all this COVID stuff.
I think I'm going to be on the road to Luby's.
Well, ain't a bad idea, bro.
Damn, a bunch of traveling
That's
in
it.
that I-45 sector.
Well, just like
Crazy
AJ
crap.
Green did today, we always tell you there's a way that you can send in your comments, suggestions, or ideas about a show.
We encourage you to do so.
Yes, sir.
Take that challenge, by the way.
As Grandpa challenged you, please accept it and send us in your ideas.
Yeah.
And you can do that by going to our Gmail account, which is grandpa and Pappy at gmail.com.
Yep.
Or
you can hit us up directly on our website show page, which can be found by typing in www.grandpaandpappy.com. That's grandpa with the letter N, pappy.com, where you'll see that big red button. What do they do with that big red button there, Grandpa?
all you have to do is push on it. They'll ask you for a password that only you know.
That's right.
And that will subscribe you to the Grandpa and Pappy Show, where you can go in, watch the shows. And you can also, down at the bottom, you'll have 3 different ways that you can send us in your ideas or make any suggestions there on YouTube, from Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can go right to our Facebook group page, the Grandpa and Pappy Facebook and group page. If you're not a member of that and you'd like to be, just send us a friend request for it, and we will make sure that you are added.
And bring a friend along.
And
with
join
you too,
almost
by
2,000
God.
others who watch that every day.
Yeah, that's kind of the epicenter of our whole show, that website page. You can, that's a control center. You can go anywhere you want to go on that page. Instagram, Twitter, just like Grandpa said, Facebook, podcast page, or just stay there and watch
Well, one of the
any of our 102 shows that we've got stashed on YouTube. So
we still have a few of the T-shirts left.
we do.
As you can see, we've asked you to send in some pictures of you with your T-shirts on, which we appreciate so very much. If you haven't sent in a picture yet, please do so to us so we can feature you right here on our show. There's Robert and his lovely wife, Brent and Lindsay Hardy right there, and Lisa Seeley there, giving us a pose for Grandpa and Pappy. But it's been fun. It really has. We want to wish all of you a very, very happy and mostly a safe Thanksgiving.
Now be safe out on those highways.
Yeah, don't let your meal get ruined by watching the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day.
Your guts are going to hurt bad enough without all that.
Yeah, I think this is the first year that I'm not going to rush through my meal to watch the Cowboy game.
There you go.
Anyway, it's been fun. We always end every program by telling you to hug your children and let them know you love them.
Let them know we love them right here, Grandpa and Pappy Show, too, by God.
Absolutely. Thanks to Special K over there for another great show.
As usual,
And until we see you again after Thanksgiving, everybody stay safe. God bless, and we'll see you soon.
Take care of one another. Happy holidays to you.
Bye-bye.